I just finished watching Miss Grand International's national costume competition, and we just have to talk about it. We all know that I have such a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with this organization, but the women competing in it, there are always faves, okay? I always have such a soft spot for a handful of women competing at Miss Grand International that just basically forces me to follow this pageant, even though its owner and some of the things about it is so problematic. So forgive my hypocrisy, but we just have to talk about what was going on at the Miss Grand International National Costume Competition. I'm also going to be covering prelims, and then I'll probably make a favorites or prediction video, and then I'll be covering finals as well, because this year there are just girls who are that good that I just have to see their journey through to the end. But with that being said, let's just talk about these costumes. First of all, Angola. Now, as someone who has grown up in Africa, on the continent of Africa, not necessarily Angola, but South Africa and Angola's neighboring country, Namibia, I have to say that this fit is definitely representative of every African grandmother at church, and obviously I say this with love and devotion. For Albania, the flag was definitely necessary to make this costume seem more interesting than it actually was. I mean, if you need a flag, your country's flag, like a literal flag, not a costume representative of the flag, your national costume is probably not that good or innovative. For Argentina, I love the color. The shoes make it seem kind of devilish though, but I definitely love the color of this. With Armenia, it is giving cult vibes, I mean, or definitely what like a boxer or fighter would wear when they're walking into the arena on some sort of rap song. Australia, oh my goodness guys, this is so good. How mesmerizing is this? It's very representative of Australia Sea. It's giving jellyfish realness. I love this. Belgium to me was very boring. It was very 2011 high school dance. I wasn't very impressed with it. Bolivia was looking a bit strange, to be honest, but I love how interesting it is. It's very intricate and well made. Brazil was wearing something very different and interesting. For Brazil, it was in tribute to their F1 champion, and I quite like it, and I think it's quite appropriate given the rather recent success of the Formula 1 movie and all of that, so I love this for Brazil. With Canada, oh my goodness, I love this costume for Canada. It's very representative of what you think of when you think about Canada. With China, the dress doesn't really match the splendor and intricacy of the headpiece, and so for me there is a mismatch that throws me off between those two elements. Colombia, guys, how incredible is this? The goddess vibes are so strong, and it's even in the Miss Grand International colors of gold and green. Just amazing, 10 out of 10. Costa Rica's shoes take away from her outfit a little bit, but I do love costumes like these with the carnival vibes. So beautiful. Cuba had a very strong costume in my opinion. So many details, including the drums and inspo from the flag. It was just beautiful. With Czech Republic, I love the oversized headpiece. It's so unique, and when she turns around, it transformed into something completely different. Czech Republic was stunning to me. Denmark was trying to give the Little Mermaid. I don't love how the skirt is high-low. It's fine, I guess, but it's not groundbreaking. The Dominican Republic, guys, the Earth Goddess vibes are so strong with this. The detail of the mangoes, I adored the Dominican Republic. For Ecuador, I'm sorry, this reminded me of those blow-up dinosaur suits in the beginning, but honestly, when she was crouching down, you know, it was so cool because she actually did look like a lizard, but standing up, it's just a bit awkward. For Egypt, the extremely poofy skirt is just too much. It's giving Victorian era instead of ancient Egypt queen. I don't know, I feel like Egypt's costume could have been better. With El Salvador, something is definitely lacking here. I mean, the costume seems unfinished somehow. Do you know what I mean? France was like giving Marie Antoinette in drag. I don't know where the pink wig was coming from. I like France as a contestant this year, so I don't know, I expected a bit more from her in terms of performance and costume overall. Georgia was straight up giving witchcraft. Like, the Hecate vibes were very, very strong here. I'd rather not continue criticizing because I don't want to catch a stray spell. With Germany, the wings being skew is a bit distracting, and also no thought was given as to how the costume would look from behind when she turns around. Ghana, guys, she brought the forest with her. I love how colorful this costume is. It just feels so fresh. I feel like I can smell the rainforest on this costume. With Guatemala, I thought to myself for a moment, am I crazy for loving this? It's so different and avant-garde and fierce, and I just loved it. With Guyana, the fabrics used just seem a bit stiff. It doesn't feel like a very high quality costume. Guys, with Haiti, not her wanting to down the bottle on stage, girl. If I was having to compete at MGI, same. As for the costume itself, it was a bit meh. Hong Kong was pretty. It was not necessarily wow, but cute, you know. Hungary, guys, I feel bad for criticizing this one because it was mentioned that she and her mom made this costume, and you know, it's not particularly egregious, and so I shall reserve my opinion. For Iceland, this is very different for Iceland. Not bad. I love when we see twists like this because usually Iceland, you know, they go for the ice parts of Iceland. With India, she brought a set, you know, not necessarily a costume, but a set that she pushed around. The set is also like sort of bootlicking and sucking up to the owner of Miss Grand International in the process. And you know, with India's recent history at Miss Grand International, I just didn't like this. This made me feel like I needed to take a shower. I don't like how it was kowtowing to the owner of Miss Grand International, and I also honestly don't respect the fact that it's not a wearable costume but a set being pushed around. With Indonesia, she looked so cool, but I think she was trying to do something, but the costume malfunctioned because there was this weird bit where she was trying to pull at something. With Italy, guys, there was just simply no imagination. She was just wearing a Italian designed wedding gown. With Jamaica, this was interesting, but the beak hanging flimsily in her face took away from the costume. Japan, guys, what her costume lacked in extravagance, she more than made up for in performance. I mean, I love this. I hope Japan pulls out these moves for every segment moving forward, including swimsuit and evening gown and even final Q&A if she gets there. For Kazakhstan, guys, I love this costume. It looks so good, but it's something that you could wear at any high fashion event. I still love how it looked though. With Kosovo, we all know this diva has been grabbing attention at MGI for all the wrong reasons in my opinion. She is very grand coded, shall we say. Her costume for that reason was actually surprisingly tame. For Kazakhstan, it's giving vampire. You cannot tell me otherwise. It's giving vampire, and I'm not saying I don't like it. In fact, I love it. With Laos, it's a bit too busy and strange, and it looks like that poor skeleton is being assaulted. With Macau, her headpiece unfortunately fell off. The costume really is nothing to write home about otherwise. Malaysia was looking very extravagant, but it seemed like the costume was so unstable, like it could break or throw her off balance at any moment. Malta was also nothing special. This costume has been seen thousands of times in pageantry. I absolutely adored Martinique. I will wear this to a wedding. It is gorgeous. For Mexico, her costume was very busy, but this is the kind of hat I need living in Namibia. So Mexico needs to get in contact about selling that hat to me. Montenegro was very uninteresting, and she doesn't even make up for it with a interesting performance. Myanmar, same as Montenegro, very traditional, not bad looking, but not very awe-inspiring, you know. With Nepal, I'm not really sure where the jellyfish looking umbrella fits into it. Nepal didn't really wow me either, to be honest. For the Netherlands, the weapons look like foam, and I think they are, but The rest of the costume is really impressive for the Netherlands. New Zealand's costume looks like it was assaulted in transportation, especially the wings. Nicaragua's performance really added a lot to the costume that she was wearing. Great performance. Nigeria, I have to say that I would love it if the elephant head itself was less hollow or fake looking. I'm not saying that she has to go up there with a real life elephant head, but do you know what I mean? It just looks like it's made of hollow plastic or something similar. North Macedonia showed up in a bedazzled swimsuit and cape, and she thought that she was breaking ground. Palestine came out basically in what you'd expect. You know, she was requesting prayers for peace, etc. But I felt like the costume itself, let's be honest, could have been more interesting. With Panama, she was extremely extravagant, yet the whole thing was also harmonious. I did like Panama's costume a lot. Paraguay's costume was drink themed, and despite the fun backstory of the costume itself is still quite boring. With Peru, I love when she opens the flower, but the flower itself is too floppy and it just looks like a big circle on her back. I love the concept of this though, and it could have been well done. The Philippines, not enough thought, I have to say, was put into how it would look from the back, and I noticed this as a theme with the costumes this year. It was stunning from the front, however. It's just when she turns around, you know, the stunning doesn't continue into the back. For Portugal, honestly, I wasn't vibing with Portugal. The headpiece doesn't belong with the fit, and it was also just a bit boring. For Puerto Rico, the literal stuff of nightmares this costume was, but at least it's interesting, you know, it's memorable because of how it looks. With Singapore, her dress is a bit short. I love how the dress looks though. The headpiece doesn't belong though. I don't know. With Singapore, I love the dress, but you know, it's a bit meh. Slovak Republic, guys, I actually really like this. It's interesting and a well-made costume. With South Africa, oh, my fellow South Africans, that blue crane's wings are broken. Bird flu is in the air. Wings are so important to get right when it comes to costumes, and this costume could have been amazing if the wings just were better constructed. With South Korea, it made me thought of those gold sheets that you use in art to gild things with. Everything is just too flat and gold, you know? With Spain, oh, guys, can I just say, Spain, Spaniards, please find something better. Find something else. Why is every Spanish national costume this? For Sri Lanka, do you see what I mean about the wings? This is what I mean. It really takes away from an otherwise cool costume. For Sweden, this, I have to say, is the only time that those horse hoof stripper heels are allowed on stage. I wish the horses were 3D instead of so flat, but I don't know, it's a good concept for a costume. I just wish some of the parts were better executed. Taiwan is supposed to symbolize an orchid. I don't really see it. I just feel like the costume is a bit meh. With Tanzania, I actually think her costume is really cool. I love it when African countries incorporate wildlife. For Thailand, what a performance. This woman gave such an energetic performance to sell the costume, and I really appreciated that. Trinidad and Tobago came out beautifully extravagant and dynamic. I love this costume, so beautiful. Turkey was wearing just a dress. By no effort, and I think it just says a lot about a contestant when they can't put effort even into national costume. The UK came out, and speaking of effort, guys, it had seagulls with flapping mechanical wings chowing down on fish and chips. That is crazy. I am in love. I'm in love with the UK and their innovative national costume. The US Virgin Islands, she knows her body is banging, okay? She's like, costume who? Costume what? I have never heard of it. I don't need all of that. I'm sold. Honestly, I can't stop looking at her. Isn't she just absolutely gorgeous? The USA, I adore this. Las Vegas is so emblematic of the USA, especially as it pertains to the international audience. So I was really pleased with the USA's costume. Venezuela was dressed as a beauty queen at a a beauty pageant competing as a pageant queen in the national costume competition. So meta, like it's beauty pageantception. Okay, I guess. Vietnam was very interesting, especially during the reveal part of the costume. Zambia, I love this woman's super dark skin and how the lighter details look against it. She is just so regal. And lastly, guys, Zimbabwe. Wow, is this not giving queen? Is this not giving goddess? How commanding. I love. So yes, guys, those were my thoughts on all of the national costumes at Miss Grand International this year. I was very pleased, especially with the UK. I mean, the UK's costume I thought was amazingly innovative. What did you guys think? I would love to know. I know we all, guys, like I mentioned before, my relationship with this organization is like hanging by a ball hair right now. But there are just some amazing contestants that I just feel like I have to see how they do. I just have to. I can't help it. It's an addiction. I need help. So yes, guys, let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye.